Good morning, everyone. My name is Porter Anderson. I'm the editor-in-chief of Publishing Perspectives magazine, and we are the news medium of Frankfurt Book Fair. We're very glad to have you here. Welcome to Frankfurt. We're on our second day. We're getting through it, you see. And it's great to see all of you. Thank you for coming. I hope we'll have some more folks join us. As you may know, at the 10 o'clock hour, it's hard for everybody to get through the gate at the front. And so it takes a while, and you'll probably be joined by some colleagues as we talk and go ahead. Normally by the end of the session, we have far more people than we did at the beginning. And I'm delighted with this session this morning. We're very glad to have as our executive talk subject this morning a wonderful person who has an extraordinary story to tell you about her publishing house in Bangkok. It is an amazing operation that's much more than book publishing, as I've been learning. It's been fascinating to get to know more about this. This is Kim Chongsatitwatana, and she is the Nanmee Books CEO. She's the second in the family. Her mother created the company many years ago, right? Yep, about 30 years, is it? 30 years ago. And it's a fascinating story, and what Kim has done with it is just amazing because it has so much outreach into the community, into the society about environmentalism, science, especially for young people. You'll hear all of this. What we've asked Kim to do this morning is start us with a series of slides that will give you a sense of the framework of the company, the things that she's doing, how they work, how they go together. And then she and I will have some conversation about the difficulties and the challenges, because since we're in a business forum here in the Publishing Perspectives Forum, we like to talk about what's not working as well as what is working, because all of us have issues in our publishing houses, right? Right. So we'll get to that after we see our slides, after we have some words from Kim. Kim, welcome. It's terrific of you to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Porter, for having me.
It's my pleasure. Take it away.
All right, so I'll start by saying hello to you all in Thai, and that is Sawadee ka. Sawadee ka means hello. Thank you. And we have some Thai colleagues here with us also today, and so I'm very happy. So my name is Kim, and I'm CEO of Nanmee Books. And in this first slide is actually me and my daughter at our bookstore in Bangkok. So we have the first children bookstore in Thailand called Wen Gao, which was named after the Princess Sirinthorn of Thailand, and she had graciously opened our bookstore for us. Nanmee Books is a family business with the goal of promoting lifelong learning and reading to nurture active citizens. So active citizen is the big theme at Nanmee Books, and we have defined active citizens to be someone who is capable, who's ethical, and who's self-responsible, but at the same time has the conscience to give back to the society. And now we're 32 years old, and we are organized in 4 business units, which is Publishing House, which is the main and founding business, Learning Innovations, Learning Services, and Learning Space. So please let me tell you a little bit about what we do in each pillar, and then I guess that would give you a good foundation to our discussion later on. So we publish about 300 new titles a year. 90% are licensed titles, a lot from Frankfurt Book Fair. And 80% of our portfolio are content for children, 0 to 18 years old. The remaining 20s for adults. And in the children portfolio, our biggest growing segment is books for 0 to 8 years old. And that we do picture books, like these are the ones which are doing very well in our territory, like Oliver Jaffer, Albatross. This is like a Czech title, or the Japanese Butt Detective. Butt Detective. So basically, before he can catch a thief, he has to fart to the thief, and then the thief will say, okay, I surrender. So that's the kind of books that we like. This is the category that contributes to the highest revenue for our company. And this is also something that we are facing a lot of challenges on, because this is a very big category, but it's shrinking. That is education comics. And most of our manuscripts are from Korea or from Japan. And right now, the best-selling series is Cookie Run, which is Cookie Run from the game, online game, plus science. A very important category for us is fiction for middle grades and young adults. That is because of our history being the Harry Potter publisher in Thailand. But now, apart from Harry Potter, what is doing very well for us also are these Japanese series, Senitendo. It's a mysterious candy store. So children age 7 to 8, when they have problems in their lives, they come into this mysterious candy store and they always find something to help them. We also do a lot of reference books. Actually, we're known in Thailand to be the biggest science publisher for children. This is what my mother started the company with. So she was an ex-student activist who fled her home to live in the jungle. She joined the communists for 3 years because she wanted to fight the system. And then she realized that in order to make a true change is that you just have to actually do something in society, in the system. And that's why she founded Nanmee Books. And so most of our books were designed or thought through that it would trigger something in our readers to think about the society. So we do a lot of history and science and STEM to instill critical and analytical thinking among children. And 2 years ago, we started a new imprint called Bloom. And these are self-healing essays, mainly from Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. And it's doing quite well right now in Asia. And this is Amico. Amico is also a new imprint started 2 years ago. It's manga and graphic novels that is not like science or knowledge related. And our best-selling one is Heartstopper and the new Japanese series, The Girl from the Other Side, which helps young people deal with depression and the sense of self. With our publishing arm, we have a literacy program called Nanmee Books Reading Club. And we have worked with schools in Thailand, public and private, and have over 18 million student members. And so we do a lot of teacher training and we facilitate reading promotion activities in schools. So now we're moving on to the second pillar of Nanmee Books, which is learning innovation. Basically, in the beginning, we sell books to school libraries. And from the content that they see, we work with our schools to find out what other solutions could help teachers working easier and better. And one of the key areas are early childhood education. So we work with the Taiwanese and German toy companies to source toys that helps with sensory integration and other things to sell these. But then once we started to sell these toys, we realized that educators are not ready to use them to the full potential. And so we decided to create our own picture book curriculum to go with it. So basically, we have a curriculum for K1 to 3, divided into term 1, term 2. And so we use a picture book. For example, Lulu Wants to Help Friends. It's a French picture book with a turtle as a main protagonist. And after the kids read this book, they will do science experiment. Teachers are trained how to organize these kind of big toys to replicate the scene from the book and do many activities with it. So right now, this picture book-based curriculum is very popular in Thailand, and schools work with us for that. Our company also work with a German foundation called Hause Kleinen Forscher, which helps promote STEM education in kindergartens. And we do this together with the Princess Foundation in Thailand. And now today, we trained kindergarten educators from over 30,000 centers a year on different STEM topics. And this year, our topic is education for sustainable development, linking learning and the UN SDGs. We also work with an English edtech company to bring an AI-based math online learning to Thailand. Basically, like if our child is in second grade, she would be 8 years old, but her math age may be 6 or maybe 11. And how can a teacher cope with such diversity? So we use technology to help teachers deal with this in a personalized way so that she would have more time to coach the students. And so we work directly with schools on that. And we also work with Gakken, the largest science and children publisher in Japan, to bring over a science experiment curriculum, and we sell this in supplement to schools. Now we're on to the third pillar of Nanmee Books, that is learning services. Because we publish a lot of books, we have a lot of ideas how to bring it to life. And so we use the content of our books to design camps. So now we organize camps for schools as well as sell retail off the rack. So here, children are building their own floats in case they drown or they have to cross the river or something. What is the best material and how? And this is a Quidditch game from Harry Potter. And this is like a survival camp from our comics. And we do also teacher trainings and workshops as part of marketing and also as a service.
Here comes the best part.
So because we do a lot of activities, we used to rent out a lot of hotels until the point that we found this beautiful land near Khao Yai National Park, which is 2 hours away from Bangkok. So now we're running also Raintree Residence, which is like a book-themed hotel. And at Raintree Residence, you see like we're surrounded by nature. And so people who love nature, people who love books, they come here. And each bedroom is themed by an author or by a theme of books. For example, here's the room for Johanna Basford, the beautiful adult coloring book which we publish. And our hotel has a very large library and books are everywhere. Clients can take books from anywhere and read anywhere, just put it at the same place. And Raintree are beautiful trees in this picture, which gave the name to our hotel. And the last part, so we're on the last pillar, by the way, learning space. So this is the latest project started last month by my sister, actually. So we now have a play center called Brainery Play, where incorporate the concept of kiddie intelligence centers and picture books together. And kids from age 0 to 6 can come and play with us. So that's the end. And this is a picture from our Chinese New Year party earlier this year, organized at our hotel. This is my mom. This is me and my sister. And Pi Pink is our deputy managing director and Pi Somsak for education. Yeah. So this is it for Nanmee Books.
That's incredible. Your mom's name is Sudawi, right?
Yeah.
She did very well.
Yeah.
And we're going to be setting up a charter flight to the hotel. So anyone who wants to sign on at the end, we'll take her name. I'm so excited about going to Raintree Residence. I can't stand the rest of it. I just want to talk about that. It's a beautiful facility from all the pictures I've seen. This is a great introduction. Thank you, Kim. I think what's so amazing to me about the program that Kim has talked us through is that it's much more than books. And in many cases, she has, as with the picture books, for example, she has taken a need and created books around it, rather than what is, I think, probably the more normal approach is you have a book. And if something's not working, maybe you do something right. But this is a trade-off back and forth that I find pretty unusual, in that if there is a need that needs to serve the book side of the company, that's created. If a part of the activity programs is not working like it should, books start happening to support that. And I find this fascinating, and I wish that more of our publishers, as a matter of fact, could get a bit of familiarity with this program, because I think it would help us with sales all over, and particularly because in this case, Kim, and thanks to her mother, they're both so oriented towards science for kids and for the STM side of things, and for the responsible citizenry message that's coming across, that it's just fantastic for any society you find this in. I don't know of a country on earth that couldn't benefit from a program like this, because it's also helping the teachers so much to handle their difficulties. I really liked it when you were talking about the part about where the reading level might be. And how does a teacher deal with that? You know, suddenly there's help. There's a way that she can start approaching that in a formula that just wasn't available, certainly when I was going through school. And we were doing our red, blue, and green reading groups, you know. That was about the closest the teacher could get to any sort of direct approach to where your reading level was. So there's so much here to like. And I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to bring up before we get more into the experience of running all of this, which I'm still in awe that you're doing this. But one of the questions I had was, when you're working in STM, do you find, as we do in my society in the U.S., that you need to help girls toward that? Or is there a good balance between guys and girls in terms of science interest in Thailand?
I would say that in young children level, for example, up until junior high school, I would say maybe more girls are interested in science.
Really?
Yeah, but high school onwards, maybe more guys. But I would have to say that in Thailand, we're a pretty balanced society in terms of this subject.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. You're very fortunate. We've made tremendous strides, I'm proud to say, thanks to publishing, and to no small degree, in the States on helping girls find their way toward these careers. And we seem to be gaining traction and going better and better, but it's taken almost 15 years, during which our publishers were very instrumental in bringing in books of great women from science, right, to help girls understand, you can do this, you know, jump in. So it's been a very interesting process in that regard. Another thing that I want to talk with you a little bit about is when you're working with, I think it's 30,000 schools, is it, that are in the country? When you're working with them, are the teachers always responsive, or do you occasionally run into one of these cases where we see in our country sometimes an educational system is so set in its ways that it's not open to a new class or a new product or a new idea that you bring in? Do you run into that sometimes?
We run into a lot of obstacles.
Really?
Yeah. Even from the book level, first of all, the society doesn't really know what publishers are.
Right.
And I guess that's very similar. And most of us, schools often see us as like the evil business people who want to take their money, even though what we sell are books. So that is kind of like the first hurdle that we have to overcome. But I guess like for us now, with these 30 years proof that we're in it for a long game, for sustainability, and we're partners, it's becoming easier. Now, one of the biggest hurdle for me is that why must we buy books? This comes from teachers. Because the Minister of Education stops budgeting books to buy books for the libraries. Stop budgeting money to buy books for the libraries. So we have to sell the ideas to school owners and leaders. Please invest in buying books for your libraries. But the kids don't read it anyway. So I feel like, why are we talking about this? This should be very common sense. So that is one. And in terms of like my learning innovation pillar, it's not easy to start this business. I'm not saying I'm like successful because it's very hard to scale. Only schools who have visions to change, to see this as their marketing tools would invest in like my products. And actually those who have really benefit. They could increase the revenue for the schools because they could charge a bit extra, and kids have good results, so they have good reputation. So it's a fighting war that is going on.
Yeah. And in the adult segment, which is small at your company, it's not the big part at all. But one of the interesting things about the adult segment is I think you have a member of the royal family who writes and you publish, right?
Right.
Yeah, the princess.
Yes. So Princess Surinthorn, who is the sister of the current king, she's an intellectual and she loves books. And she translates books from Chinese, from German, from French literature. And we're very happy to be her publisher for fiction. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great. Does that help you with sales? Do people notice this and say, the publisher of The Princess? No.
I
Or
guess
does it go the other way?
I guess with time things change. In the beginning, maybe yes, but nowadays not really. Yeah, with schools, schools tend to look at us in a positive light
Right.
when they see the association between us and the princess as the writer. But yeah, I mean, it helps. It's both.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's so interesting. You know, it's a hard time for royal families everywhere, you see. But I think it's fantastic you've got a princess who is a translator. How many countries can say that, right?
Right. And I just wanted to point out as well that our princess is very progressive. So one of the books that she translated from China is actually the life of this woman who had to flee. This is the life in like the 40s. Which is a very hard time, and who had to flee her husband's home because he's actually gay, but like closeted. So her life was miserable. And then what should a woman do in this situation?
Wow.
So she left and then, started her own life and working and find her own money. So I feel like it has a lot of hidden messages for our people.
Yeah. Not afraid of tough topics.
Yeah.
That's great. That's terrific. I want to, if you'll let me, I want to mention a couple of the personal things that we've talked about too, because this is any family company is fascinating anyway. And one of the most touching things that Kim, you know me, I always ask for what are the challenges, and she told me that at least for a time, it was tough to know if the staff that she had basically inherited when she took over the company from her mom would trust you as well. Did they feel as good in your hands as they did in Sudawe's hands, you know? And it must be a difficult moment to make that leap and to try to ask them, trust me, you know?
Yeah, it's my mother is a magnificent woman, and it's a big shoe to fill. I'm still trying to fill her shoe right now. Yeah, and we are like strong family of strong women. And so it's also not easy for two strong women to work together. Yeah. But I have had my managers coming up to me that, your moms just did it better. And like, very straight feedback, which I appreciate. And it's good that I can talk to my mom about this. So I appreciate that. But we try to learn, because I was educated in the Anglo-Saxon world, going to international school, went to school in the States and stuff. So I'm a little bit different. In Thailand, one would be very polite, and before one would reach the goal of this conversation, you have to go like this. But whereas I go like this, so it's something I also must adjust because I live and work in Thailand. I should, blend in. So there are a lot of difficulties. But I was very lucky today. We have my former boss, Sirod, who's in the audience. We asked him if he would be my mentor. When my mom said, maybe you're ready to start learning to be a leader. So he was my boss for a year, and I was learning a lot from him.
Fantastic. Do you have reverse mentoring in your country?
What does it mean?
Reverse mentoring, it's very interesting now, particularly in trying to get more of our women in publishing up into the higher ranges of executive seats. Reverse mentoring is, instead of having somebody high up as a boss mentor a new employee, the new or younger employee mentors the boss and starts saying, now, boss, when you just said that, this is what I heard. So if you think of a different way to say it, I will feel better about it. Fascinating, you know? Very interesting, with a lot of trust. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do. It takes a very big boss to do this, yeah? Willing to listen and to be open to this. And a very brave employee who might say the wrong thing any minute. You know?
Actually, I would hope that more of my managers would do reverse mentoring.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm also lucky to have a good amount who do that with me. Sometimes there are a lot of tears to go with it. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting a lot of good feedbacks all the time.
That's great. That's great. That means you're sending them good signals, believe me. That's what it takes to get an employee base to respond that way to you. So congratulations on that. I also want to tell you that this is half of a power couple in publishing. This one lives in Germany part of the year, in Stuttgart, I think. Yes, because her husband is with Klett Cotta. We had Tom right in that chair over there yesterday at the great independent house, more than 400 years old here. Klett Cotta is almost a Faber and Faber in Germany, if you know that company in England. And tell us your husband's name.
My husband's name is David Klett, and actually her sister is here.
Oh, fantastic.
Isabel Klett.
Hello, hello. Welcome. Yeah, no, so this is great because what's happening is that there's a very strong anchor in publishing here in Germany and in Thailand. Whoever heard of such a thing, right? And you've just been there. He went with you, right, for weeks and weeks to go to your side.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, actually, like we met through work, and where we met was Frankfurt Book Fair. so I hope that you all will find love in Frankfurt Book Fair. Yeah, we were both married before, and then it was not successful. But Frankfurt Book Fair helped us to find love again. So that is very beautiful. And what is very good with us is that we share business cases a lot. And so we picked our brains a lot.
Yeah. Now you know what our theme is going to be at Frankfurt next year. Meet the love of your life in year 76 at Frankfurt. No, it's kind of marvelous. This is such an interesting mix of cultures going on here. There is a daughter, too, whom I'm sure is a great reader, right?
Yeah, my daughter, Ava, we raised her bilingually. And in the beginning, we were a bit afraid that she would, start talking really late because of this. But because, we've been reading to her, a lot, she's quite good in talking. She doesn't stop.
And is she comfortable when she's in Thailand, when you take her over?
I would say yes, because I actually do video calls with my mom and my dad almost every day.
Right.
So she sees her Thai grandparents almost every day, so that helps. But I wouldn't say that it's easy. Of course, I'm the CEO. I should be in Thailand, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a life choice, and we do what we have to do. And if we go to Thailand for 3 weeks, the first week, we would not have time to sleep because my daughter would be so jet-lagged. So it's just very tiring, but it's also very rewarding to go back and be with the team. Yeah, that's very important.
It's fantastic, really. And I think it's a real advantage to the publishing community here in Germany to have such close touch with a big Asian company like this. This is not very common. Even in the States, it's surprising to me that we don't have more of other cultures' facilities installed in our country as we should. We should have basic installations from each of the major markets of the world. So this is a great advantage both directions, I think. And I suppose then, in terms of economics, the challenges you've been looking at recently, and then we're going to get some questions from you guys, have to do with the staffing. Almost 200 people, right? It's a very big company, and that's not easy, that's not cheap. So you've been having to make sure that you can keep everybody, and that means you've been adjusting your list quite a bit in some cases, right?
Yeah, so just to give you some context, now my revenue is about 10 million euro. If one would compare this to 2015, we're less than half of where we used to be. And so one of my challenges as the CEO and as the success of my mother is that how can I make my company prosper to be where it was? With what kind of programs, with what kind of organization structure. Before COVID, we were over 300 people. We were doing very well with learning services. We were organizing 60 camps a year, 80 teacher trainings a year. And when COVID hit and we didn't really know how to do online yet, we had to move people to come and do e-commerce or more online marketing. Not not everybody were willing to adjust and left. So it was a normal course of things. We're very proud to not letting anybody go, but we were trying to like changing the scope and everything. Right now, I would say we're a very flexible company, and we still try to change the organization structure accordingly based on like what is coming.
And when you talk about being at half where you were, is that primarily the hit you took from the pandemic?
Pandemic would be only part of it.
Right, because you said before 2015.
Yeah. So it's a hard fact that, for example, the category that I was sharing with you that is the big contributor is this one,
Right.
education comics. So this one is less than half. Yeah.
What's happened?
I would say the change in habits.
Really?
So, for example, with Stingy Family, this is Stingy Family. It's a family who come to hard time and they have to cut back on expense. It's actually economics. It's a theme. We have like over 30 volumes of this series. We used to sell 60,000 copies per title.
Right.
Yeah, and now it might be 20.
Boy.
Yeah. So
Huge drop.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
guess like the young readers are moving on to webtoons,
Right.
yeah, or social media, and just not reading at all.
Mm.
And also, like in 2015, it was another government
Right.
who was investing heavily on libraries, and they gave money to schools to buy books for the libraries, and librarians could choose themselves.
Right.
Yeah, so it's also related to the politics.
Yeah. So those of you who are struggling, and many of our markets are, with libraries not making the same level of purchases they used to, you're not alone. This is happening. Because that's a terrible hit that you've had to take. You have to do stingy webtoons, you see. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking for, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Now, this is such a good introduction to this. And as you can see, one of the things I've enjoyed about Kim and getting to know her before we did our talk today is that she's very open about these issues that she's dealing with, even though she's really an enormous company. When you look at the world of independence, this is big and wonderfully successful. My hat's off to you, especially keeping everybody during these problems. But in comparison to some of our more corporate and what would I say, more heavily invested companies, she's quite open with you. She's willing to say, this is just not working for us. The libraries are not where they're supposed to be. We have some resistance in the educational community to what we want to do. This is great because quite frequently, I think many of our executives feel more guarded. If any of you were here with us yesterday with Nihar Malavia from Penguin Random House, one of the things I find so refreshing about Nihar is he's quite open. He's willing to hit a problem and say, yes, it is a problem, and we're trying to work on it. Much better than trying to act like everything's great, right? Because we know it never is in publishing. It's a complicated business, and everybody's facing issues. So, do you have some questions for Kim? Would anyone like to ask her anything about how she's doing all of this amazing work, and when does she sleep? That's my question, because it's kind of amazing. Especially the time change. How many hours?
Right now
do we
is
have a mic,
minus
Dominic?
5.
Sorry.
But next month will be -6.
-6, right.
Yeah.
It gets a little better. Yeah, right, exactly. Do we have we have another one over here. Yeah, anybody to run it? No, we'll bring it to, I'll get the next one, you get that one. No,
A lot is done in Germany with the Haus der kleinen Forscher, which is just renamed also, because they are also, I wouldn't say trouble, but it's changing time for them. Do you have a similar thing in Thailand you are working with?
Thank you so much. So, Haus der kleinen Forscher in English means the little researcher's house, and it was just rebranded to be the house of young to something which I cannot remember right now. But the direction how the foundation in Berlin is going to transform is because it's facing a different educational challenge. In the past, STEM is the key topic. But now in Germany, young people finish school not being able to read and write or do math. And so that's the direction how the German Foundation is transforming. And because I'm the secretariat for this foundation in Thailand, so when I learn about this, I feel, oh my gosh, we're actually having the same problem. Because in Thailand, every year the ministry will publish news. What should we do when third graders can't read or write? And and so like I feel this is extremely frustrating for us publishers, because for us publishers, one of the key solutions is then you must give books for kids to read, and a wide variety of books which would fit that the kids that they would like, because the kids like different types of books. So you have to buy many types of books for the libraries. And we're a country of very big inequality gap, and not everybody can buy their own books, so school libraries must buy books. But as I said, schools are asking us, why must we buy your books? So it's hard, but at the same time, like I think STEM is still very important for Thailand, because by our nature and culture, we're not trained to question the elders. We have to listen to what the elders tell us and not question it. So we don't really ask why. But for democracy to work and for our society to progress, people must ask why. And that's why we think science is a good tool. And so we will still remain on STEM.
There, thank you.
There was a very good article, I think, last week in a German weekly news magazine, Die Zeit, from the leaving managing director from the Haus der kleinen Forscher. Kinderforschen is the new name. And I think it resonated with me for publishers, because he clearly says it is not, as mostly, an either or, either to learn reading or to learn STEM. And so I think what is needed now is are materials that combine learning language, a big challenge in Germany, but learning reading with nice and science. And I think that is perhaps a way some of our publishers could go. Thank you.
It's fascinating, the commonalities from market to market and the problems we're all seeing. Any more questions? Someone else? Here's one. Mike is on the way. There we go.
Thank you very much first for your report. It's very interesting, and my question is more or less practical. If we, for example, in European publishing house who wants to enter the Thai market, what would you recommend as a specialist on that market? Where we should go, for example, Shanghai Book Fair or Taiwan Book Fair first, or any other book fairs? So what would be your recommendation for European publishing house to enter this vast Asian market? Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I would share first about Thailand. And for example, today we have 2 Thai publishers here, CED and Wimel Club. So Thai publishers buy a lot of rights. So we're very open for that. And Thailand does have an international book fair every March. And the Thai Publisher Association is doing a good job to facilitate rights, selling and buying. So I guess it's something you should look into. And I guess Thai publishers also go a lot to Taipei and to Seoul book fairs.
I'm very familiar myself with the Taipei program. It's huge and beautifully done. Extremely professional setup. So that one I can vouch for myself. Who else? Here's one. Yep. Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you. If You were saying before that most of your authors, I think, are from Korea, Japan, Thailand. I'm a literary agent, and so I represent mostly authors from Australia, but some from America and the UK. Is authors from other countries like Australia, US, the UK, are they marketable in Thailand?
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, I think like the ones that are doing very well for us, which are more Asian focused, are the self-healing essays and the or self-healing fiction, which is like this new thing. But in terms of like self-development, nonfiction for adults, picture books, fiction for middle grades, we're still buying a lot actually from the English or from the French or from the German language. So yeah, I guess like if you go to Thailand, you'll see more translated from English. Yeah, so it's just a particular genre.
Hi, I'm Hằng. I'm from Vietnam. I have a small question for you. I wonder if you have any plan if you see any trend in like a new generation of writer for children in Thailand. Because we see a lot of children books were translated and introduced in Thailand, and I would like to see if it has any trend in the future, or if you have any plan to educate or train a new generation of writer in Thailand. Thank you.
At Nanmee Books, we actually have a writing award. It's called Wenga Award. And Wenga Award, we have contests for picture books for kids, reference books for kids, and also middle grade fiction. So in parallel, we're also trying to groom Thai authors. Actually, we also do a lot of workshop for Thai translators and Thai editors. So I think it goes together. But I would say that personally, if you ask me like 7 years ago, I would tell my staff, okay, now more Thai writers. But now I have to think about cost and what sells. So I'm less mindful about that. But we still do have the space for the writing awards and the grooming of Thai talents.
Fantastic. I think we have time for one more. Maybe one more question? Or are we done? Everybody's good, huh? Oh, here's one. Hang on, great.
Do you distribute books for university students as well?
Because we do also books for older readers, we also sell to universities. But I would say that my own sales force are not so expert with the university market. That's why we work with our partner, CED, to help distribute to university. Yeah.
So you are not trying to grow in that space, but you have your partners and you cooperate.
In terms of distribution, because my portfolio for older readers is 20%, and in the past I did everything, but now I scope to only few categories like self-development, self-healing, alternative health, and some very few fiction for adults. That's why we're not investing so much there. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thank you for those good questions and for joining us this morning. And were you going to say something, sir? Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I have just a question. I am a small publisher, Italian small publisher of art books, and we are specialized in facsimile editions of all the manuscripts. It's a very small business, but in recent years we have published some 6 manuscripts, old manuscripts, one Armenian, one Dutch, one German, and so other. And recently, we have published also a small manuscript, Thai manuscript, edited by the most eminent scholar of the British Library, who is called Jan Aigumna, who is the curator of the British Library for the Thai, Lao, and Cambodian old manuscripts. And my question is, according to your experience, there is a space in Thailand for a typical, a small manuscript, which is not very small, which is instead the largest ever published book, because it is large, 6 meters, like a reporello, like an accordion. According to you, there is a space in Thailand for such a product, editorial product, and whom can we apply for a small, very small distribution in your own country? I will hear that.
I think you're being pitched.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would say that already the product is out. Yeah, I mean, like today we have 2 very good distributors with us on the floor, C-Ed and Booksmith. So maybe you can show it to my colleagues here.
Perfect answer. That's very clever. You hand it off to someone else, you see. No, congratulations, though. That's an interesting looking book, I must say. And I want to thank all of you again for being with us. If you'd like to stay for the next session, it's on sustainability, particularly for small and medium-sized publishers. So do that if you'd like. I want to say, just because I want you to hear me say the name so beautifully again, thank you to Kim Chongsatitwatana. I'm so proud I can say that.
Yay, please give Porter a round of
Thank you
applause.
very much. Months of practice. But this has really been a wonderful session. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much
Fascinating
for having
work,
me,
and
Porter.
congratulations on everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Everybody have a good day.